No other corner of the world is home to more diversity than Africa. According to Britannica, distinct ethnic and linguistic groups inhabiting the continent number into the thousands, with a 2009 Science Express study showing that Africans are more genetically diverse than peoples of the rest of the world combined. Liberia was the first modern African nation state, while South Sudan was the continent's last to secure nationhood. Then, many North African countries won their independence from 1922. But what's even crazier is that the nations of sub-Saharan Africa are, at most, only 60 years young, and it was Ghana who led the way for the region, having won independence in 1957. By that time, the current Queen, Elizabeth II, had already reigned over the United Kingdom, Commonwealth and Empire for 5 years, and most of Latin America, Asia and the Middle East had already become the countries that they are today. Speaking of youth, it is the young whom Africa belongs to, as the median age of the continent is a green 19.5 years of age. That means that the typical person anywhere across Africa is a teenager, and by 2100, half of the world's children under 18, a population that will be larger than that of Europe at that time, will be living in Africa. In 2016, the African Union rolled out its own passport and announced its ambitions to create an Africa where freedom of movement exists for all African citizens in the near future. But as we speak, the AU passport is only available to African heads of states, AU officials, and select national government personnel. However, with each passing year, the continent moves closer to delivering on this vision. Right now, Africans of all nationalities can stay in the nations of Benin and the Seychelles for up to 90 days without a visa. And countries such as Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Togo either have a visa-free entry or offer e-visa and visa on arrival services for all of Africa and virtually the rest of the world. So, if a trip to the motherland has been on the cards for you for some time, just go for it. You'll have your tickets and visa sorted out in a jiffy, John. Swahili is the most widely spoken language native to Africa, and it is estimated to have anywhere from 50 to 100 million speakers. It is also listed as an official language for the countries of Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. But it is also widely spoken across other nations in East and Central Africa. There also isn't much that's stopping you from learning it. And according to the BBC, Swahili is the easiest language to learn for English speakers. Contrast this with Zulu, a South African language spoken by nearly 25% of the nation's population, which, alongside languages such as Russian, Georgian, and Burmese, is listed as a Category 4 language by the US Foreign Service. The river now measures as the longest on Earth and gave birth to one of the world's oldest civilizations. But I bet that you didn't know that the river actually runs from south to north. The Nile flows from Lake Victoria, the second largest freshwater lake in the world, which is surrounded by the East African countries of Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, and Rwanda. Contrary to popular belief, there are no wild tigers in Africa, but virtually all of the world's lions, which is not in fact the most dangerous animal on the continent, as that title goes to our friendly hippos, beasts of the lake who kill more humans each year in Africa than any other animal. Ever heard of the Mandinka people? For many of us, Kunta Kinte may be the main and only thing that we know about them, but when taken together as an ethnic group, they can be found far and wide across West Africa and the rest of the world, and number over 10 million in total. This largely Islamic tribe is also rumoured to be responsible for bringing one of the richest men into this world, Mansa Musa, the 14th century king of the Mali Empire, who ruled at a time when the region might have been the largest producer of gold on the planet. For many people, New York is seen as the birthplace of hip-hop. But what if I were to tell you that it actually isn't? The roots of hip-hop are planted in the soil of West Africa. It was here, across the Mali Empire in pre-colonial Africa, that the region's keepers of history, known as griots, used rhythmic song and poetry to pass down oral tradition and history. They were the rock stars of their time, and many of them worked as royal advisors along with many other professions. And through countless waves of migration, mainly facilitated by the North Atlantic slave trade. Many griots found themselves in Jamaica, where the tradition of toasting was formed, what we now know today as freestyling. Eventually, one of these Jamaicans, who went by the name of Clive Campbell, found his way to the Bronx, New York, in Disco America, and became the man we know today as DJ Kool Herc, and a thing called hip-hop was born. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and follow us on our Instagram account. And as always, get woke.